In this video, in your browser, we are going to make this slick website with professional looking effects like this parallel scroll in your top banner. About Us section is obviously there where you can show off the best sides of you. Mine is this one. And you see how it overlaps the previous section? That's freaking awesome. Obviously, we will have a service section and this background video that just casually slides in. It doesn't really have function, but it looks super cool. And people will need to be able to contact you, so we will hook up a contact form. And obviously, everything will work on mobile because most of website traffic is on mobile nowadays. And as a cherry on the top, I'll show you how to add extra features like this appointment booking calendar, where people can book you or your service and directly pay for it. But don't worry, this is not some techie video where you need to know how to code. Instead, we'll be using Wix website builder where you just drag and drop stuff and it magically works. And I'll take it nice and slow, really trying to help millennials and above. Now I get it, this video is a bit longer, so check the timestamps if you want to jump from one section to another. Hello internet people, my name is Robert. Let's start by going to this URL or just click on the first link in the video description, I'll add it there too. And you land on this page and here you just enter your email and you can sign up for free. Like this, start now. And now it will ask you to also add a password so you can log in. Again, totally free to start and try out, and if you're happy with it, only then you need to pay. Then it'll ask you some questions. If you want to speed it up, you can also skip them, but it helps you to personalize some of the templates and stuff, so I think it's better to answer them. Let's answer for my business. In my case, I'm building a music teacher, so it's a website for a music teacher. Okay, so when you start out, when it's your first time, you get a lot of help from Wix. You can see here, for example, let's set up your business details. Now, I'm gonna skip this one because we're gonna set this up a bit later. So I'm just gonna click on this and close the pop-up here. Okay, finally we can start now. So you can see that this is your overall dashboard. This is where you control everything in Wix. On left, you have the menu. You see you have all kinds of stuff. We're gonna kind of touch upon some of these. Some of them you don't even need because you need to install apps to actually start using them. But for now, all you have to do is here on the right, you have design the site. Let's click on that. So now it's asking you, well, how do you want to build this website? You can use the AI-powered Wix creation tool, but actually we're gonna just pick a template, or we're gonna actually start from scratch. So we're not even gonna use the template. Now it's suggesting lots of different templates. You definitely can take a look at them and see if you want to use them, but I like to start from scratch because I want you to understand how Wix works, and then you can use templates, because once you got the basics, it's much easier to use the templates. So what we can do is here, there's also a blank templates option. So let's click on that. And you see that there's a few different options, but I'm gonna just choose this one by clicking on the edit. You could also view it. Well, this one is empty, so it doesn't make much sense, but you could also view the other templates, preview them and see if you like them. This is the Wix editor, and this is where all the magic happens. You can see right now we have it empty, and that's good. We want to start from scratch. Now, before we start, I advise that you have some sort of idea what type of a website you're building and how, for example, the homepage will look like. And just to give you an example, this is what I drew. I'm gonna use paper. Yeah, I'm old school. This is a video for millennials and plus. So I used paper for this. So this is what I drew for myself. All I have here is very simple, just drawings here that you have the header here. I have some section just for the hero banner, got about me, services, parallax effect here, and also contact form at the bottom. This is what I want to build from for today. It can be this simple. You don't need to even think about anything more than this. If we start with the editor here, we could just, here on the left, if we click, we have elements and stuff. So we have text, images, buttons, strips, and so on. There's a lot of different elements here that you can add. Now, one thing to note is that, for example, if I now add this heading no, sorry, yeah, heading, I'm gonna add it here by just clicking. Okay, it's a bit slow. So there you go, it added the heading here, and I can now just click and drag it anywhere on the screen I want to. But I think it's helpful if you know how actually Wix works. So how does the structure within Wix work? So again, taking my action camera. Oh, I ate some crackers yesterday, so let's clean it up a little bit. How Wix works, it has the header. So this is the header. And then you got at the bottom the footer. Like this, okay. I went a bit crazy with the footer. And then in between you have sections. And you can have as many sections as you want. Right now, I'm just gonna have 2. That's a section. And then inside a section, you can have elements. So let's say you put in some title here. You could now randomly put sections inside this, put elements inside of this section. So you have an image here or a button here. You could really go crazy here. But to keep it really structured, you can use something called strips. And strips are basically same like a container. It's a container that you can then go ahead and actually change to columns. So let's say I have here an element, which is a header. And then inside, still in this section, but outside the text element, I can have a strip. This is how Wix calls them. It's like a container. Inside, let's call this here, strip. So inside this strip, you can have columns. So let's say you have 3 columns here. And then inside of each column, you can have, for example, this could be an image. The whole column could be an image. Then you can have some text here. And you could have here a button or even a video, whatever you want. And this is how you structure it. And the cool thing is when you go from desktop to mobile, all of this will be stacked on each other. Oh yeah, and something to mention is that the header and footer, when you update them, they stay across all pages. So you update them once on one page and they will show up the same on all the different pages. So that out of the way, let's start building our tool. If you ever want to delete anything, you just press on the backspace on your keyboard and it will delete it. Same thing if you press on delete. Make sure you've selected the right element. And if you ever made a mistake like now, you can hear the arrows at the top. You can undo what you've done. You see? And now back here. You can also right click here and there's more options here, but I'm just going to delete this. Let's start by just clicking here on the left and add a section. We already have a section, but that's okay. We can add another one. And first of all, I want to create some sort of welcome, so a hero banner at the top. So here I have options, and I'm going to use this one because it's the closest one that I'm going to need. I'm going to adjust everything on it, so don't worry, just pick whatever is the closest to you. And then you can drop it here. You see, I dragged and dropped it there. Now it appears. Great. If we click into it, it will now take you to this to the bigger screen. First of all, I want to change the background, so I'll just click on this section and then change section background. And in here, I'm going to choose image. You could choose one of the stock images here. You see there's like hundreds of them you can use from Wix, Shutterstock, and Unsplash. But actually, I'm just going to use my own images and I need to upload them. So I'm going to click on that, upload from computer. And I already prepared some images, so if you want to use these same images, then just follow the link in the description and it'll take you to Google Drive to download this. If you want to follow all the steps in this tutorial. But anyway, when I click on the first image, I can also hold Shift on my keyboard and then it'll select all of them by, if you just select first and last, that's how it selects all. I'm going to open them and now it's going to upload all of them. Now, they are mostly images, but there's one video, so it takes a little bit longer to upload. But in my case, I already know I'm gonna select this image. Yeah, okay, it's running away from me. So I've selected it, and then I'm gonna click on change the background. Now I have this huge background image. This is awesome. I'm gonna close this. And now I can click on this container box and move it to left. You see these 2 lines here? What Wix says is this is like if anything is outside of them, so on left or right, then there's a chance that it's not going to show up on one of the device sizes. So make sure most of your content is there. It doesn't always apply. You sometimes want to have on desktop really nice wide image or elements, that's fine, but keep in mind that there are these rules. So I moved this box here. Now I can also take the text and I'm going to change the text. So I have already prepared some text like this. Learn to play music with Steve. Very creative, I know. And then I could also change this text to my own text. So I just double click on it, it selects all of it, and I'm just copy pasting it here. Now, what's cool about Wix? I gotta show you this because I really think they have this AI text generator. So if I click on this, I could now tell, well, my business is about music teacher, then this is the business name, and I want a paragraph. I want it to generate a paragraph for me. So I can now select welcome from here because that's the sort of it's the hero banner that I'm creating. And if there's certain words I want them to include, then I would write it down here. So for example, reach your goals. So let's give it a go. Create text. Now the AI is generating few options. And look at that, it's just like magic. You can use this text now as a placeholder, or maybe you just modify it and use it for real. But this is just an option. And I think it's just cool that they integrated it directly with Wix. I'm gonna keep to my text, I'm happy with it. And I'm gonna move the text here. I just click on it and drag it to the left. Same thing with the other text. But what I'm not happy about, that is like center aligned. So I'm gonna select both of these by pressing on Shift key and then clicking on both of them. And now I could group them, and I can also edit the text from here. So if I click on edit text, here I can choose alignment. I'm gonna left align them. Great. Now it looks better. I'm gonna move also this button to left. And I don't want this box actually. I don't want it to have any color. So I'm gonna click on design. And then once it loads, click on customize design and fill color. We're gonna make it transparent. Boom, it's gone. It's pretty exciting. It's so easy to use this. I'm quite impressed how far Wix has come. Okay, now black on black, black text on black background doesn't work that well, so let's change the text color. So I'm gonna go to edit text, and from this icon I can change the color to white. Same thing goes for the other text. And click on it, edit, change to white, like this. Oh, for some reason the title didn't change. Let's quickly do the change from here. Not sure why. Sometimes Wix has weird issues. It's okay, we can do it again. Now, I just changed the color for this, but what about fonts and in general just the style of the theme? Because I don't want to go and every time change this. Cool thing is there's this thing called site design. So if you click on that, you can set your site theme here. So if I again click on it and I can click on text, I can now choose the type of font for each heading and paragraph. Or you can also change the text theme. And here you can choose your theme. So they already have some pre-designed ones. So for example, I like this Corbin. You see, it's a bit more maybe serious one than I had. Quicksand, let's try that. Looking great. I like this one. I think it's more playful. I like this theme. So if you're not happy with these options, if this is just not enough, there's what, 12 of them. It's just not enough for everybody. If you already know what font you would like to use, then you come here. And then you just click on each of these headings and you would change it to, for example, from Quicksand to Poppins, if that's what you like most. So I would change it from here. I would go through all of the headings and also the paragraphs and change those. In my case, I actually like this one, so I'm going to keep it. But the only thing I'm going to change for the heading one, I think it's way too big at 60, so I'm going to make it 48 pixels. Like this. And don't forget to click apply, otherwise it doesn't do it. Great. So now anytime I set one of the text to be heading 1, it's going to take the Quicksand in 48 pixels. Now you'll notice that I have Quicksand for all of these paragraphs and headings. You could have one font family for the heading and then another one for the paragraph itself, but don't go crazy with it. Choose one or two and stick with those. Cool. I'm happy with this. Let's exit this one. And now this button, let's take a look at the button. First of all, I want to change the text here. Text only, and I'm going to say book appointment. Like this. Okay, looks pretty decent, but I think I need to style it. So I'm going to select from here this little design icon, and now I can change what I see. So from here, I could customize the design. I could add different things. But again, same as with fonts, we don't want to do this every time. We want to just select certain colors and then be done with it so that it applies for all the elements. So let's try that. So I'm going to come here, again, click on the site design and site theme. In this case, we're going to click on colors. So if I click on colors, you see that it already predefined some colors here. And then we can click on change color theme. Same thing, you can choose one of the themes here. And if you're not happy with these ones, so for example, let's try this one. Didn't do much. Okay, this one for example. Now you see that the button changed, this changed to the pinkish purple color. And this is how it's going to take it. It's just going to take certain colors and apply them to your elements. It's up to you if you want to use one of these. There's quite a lot of options. But for example, if you have already a logo and you like the colors in the logo, then what you can do is you come to this web page, Coolors, here, coolors.co. I don't know how you pronounce that. But anyway, this is really cool because what you can do is you have here this generator. So let's click on it. Now, obviously, if you know your color and if you know your hex number for that color, then just enter here and lock it. But I don't know it, and I have an image. I have a logo. So let's click on this image here, and I'm going to upload a logo here. This is my logo, and you see it has this kind of a purple color. And if I click on it, it will now analyze what's in the logo. You see there's mostly purple. Good. When I click on next, and open this in the generator. So now you see all the colors that's been in the image. The main one was this one, so I'm gonna lock it. And now if I press on spacebar or on space on my keyboard, it's gonna generate colors that fit that theme or that color as well. So all of these colors kind of fit together. Okay, I like this Alice blue. I'm gonna lock it. The other ones, maybe I could use this one. I'm gonna still keep pressing on the spacebar until I see something I like. Okay, I'm gonna lock also this smoky black so that I have a black color that is not actually black, but it's slightly off. So I just can use now these four colors and they should fit together. When choosing a color palette, it's a bit more complicated process. So if you really want to dive into that, I have a video where I explain how to choose it in 3 easy steps. If you click on that banner there, it'll take you to a video explaining that. In any case, we can now come here and copy the hex number. It will do it for us. And the hex number is just like a code for that specific color. So I copied it, go back to Wix, and now if I go back, I can here change the colors of these. So I'm going to click on this edit color, and here I'll paste the hex number I just copied. You see, it's the purple one. Apply. It already updated also the buttons. Next, I'm going to also go back here, copy this Alice blue, put it in here, bada bing. Okay, select all of it, Alice blue, nice. Okay, and then the last one is this one. Well, actually, it's not the last one. Just gonna paste them all here. And the last one will be the black one if I need something a bit more special, like this. Okay, now I have my color palette and I can now use them everywhere. Let's go back to design. If I click on this zoom button, it will just zoom back in so I can edit this thing. And I'm gonna click on this button. And right now, this button doesn't link anywhere. So if I click on link, it doesn't go anywhere because we don't have any pages yet. From here, I would choose a page. You see it created some booking pages for me because I told it that I'm going to build a page for music teacher, or I think piano teacher or something like that. That's why it's already created some pages, but we're gonna touch upon those in a second. So here I have now only home page, which is this page where I'm on right now. So it doesn't link anywhere. You could also link it to a web address if it's outside your website. But for now, just keep it to a page. We're going to link those up a bit later. A moment. My alarm is going off. Okay. My alarm went off. I mean, it's 3 p.m., you know, I need to get up. No, it was just a reminder. Anyway, cool. Now this section starts to look pretty cool. I think it's a nice start for a website. One thing we need to always check is the mobile view. So if you click on this icon here, you need to check your design on mobile because it changes quite a lot. You can see immediately that it's overlapping some stuff. So I need to adjust that. The good thing about the mobile view is if you adjust anything here, if you move things around, it's not going to reflect in the desktop design. So they're separate. The mobile view is a bit more limited, but they are separate. So I'm going to just move this text to the left, so it like this, and also the button like this. So now you can see the face a little bit at least, and everything else is, it looks great. I think this can work. The only thing is this text seems to be too big, so I click on it and I'm going to adjust like this. I'm adjusting the size so it's going smaller, and I'm going to extend this one a little bit like this. Okay, cool. So now I can again choose the container box and move this text a bit lower. And what we could do is also limit. So if I need to select the text, and we can limit that the text doesn't go over the face, so it stays something like this. Okay, I like this much more. The only thing is now it's too big again, so I'm gonna make it slightly smaller. Perfect. Right. Now you can see the face on mobile and also the text is readable. Let's go back to desktop. I think the hero banner section is done. The only thing is here is if you want to rename this, you can click on this icon here, rename section, and now you can say hero banner. So you keep track what's going on. Okay. And from here, you can also change the URL suffix, but we're going to touch upon that a bit later. Cool. So now if you scroll down, I'm going to add a new section by clicking on this button here, add section, and just a blank section. And now it should be at the bottom. Yes, there it is. Now we could add another section here and then just use one of the templates, but I actually think that in this case, we're going to use a strip. So here, if you go into the strip, and I talked about strips a bit earlier in this video, and they are just like a containers that you can put columns in. So it's super useful for this feature that we're going to build now. So in about section, because this is about section I'm going to build. Let's see, what are our options? I think I like this one. I need a section where there's 50-50 split, and this is perfect. So I'm gonna just drag it to the screen like this. And now you see it's humongous. It just takes over the whole thing. Good thing, we can adjust it. Here at the top, when you see this icon with 2 arrows, or 1 arrow with 2 heads, you can adjust this to page. And now you can see that it's within those lines. I'll close it. It's a little bit big now, but it's okay. I'm gonna adjust that though. First of all, let's adjust the image. I don't want to have this image at all. Let's change the column background. In this case, I don't want anything because I'm gonna just add an image here. Let's do that. From here, I'm gonna select image. And it's one of my images here that I uploaded. Let's close this one, and it's this one. Cool, it added it here. Let's make it slightly smaller. And now you see there's this blue text says attached to column. This is now makes this image part of this column. And this is what we want. For now, I'm gonna drag this image to the top. And if I click on the column here, you see it's selected now. I'm going to change the column background to a color. In this case, it's going to be one of the green ones. Forgot what, Alice green, Alice blue, don't remember. I mean, there's so many names for these. Cool. Now it's there in the background. And same thing for this other column, change the background. color, and I'm going to change it to this one. Now they're the same. I can come and change the text. Right now it's some weird heading, so in the font family, so I'm just going to change to heading 3, maybe heading 2. Yeah, heading 2 works, I think, in this case. And I need to update the text as well. This is about us section, so just adding some text here. And for the description, same thing, like this. May it work? Sometimes a bit slow. Now, one trick here, if you see like this has paragraph and has little star there, it means it might have slightly different styling. So what you do, you just go select another one and select back the second one, and then it should just like restart itself. Now I can move both of these higher up, like this. Maybe too high. I'll adjust the text slightly. It's a bit too big. Heading 4. Okay, cool. And the button I don't need in this case, so I'm just gonna press a right click on my mouse and delete it. Cool. That's nice. Now I can always just drag this one up and down. Okay, no, I couldn't. I need to select the column. So let's select the column. Let's try to drag it now. You see, it doesn't go that well, so I can't really drag it. For some reason, it's a bit confused. So what I can do is I click on the column, I make sure it's selected, and from here you have tools, and you got this toolbar. If I click on it, this one appears, and now I can adjust the height of this whole thing. So I can now adjust to 300, and you'll see it just magically changes. Now 300 may be too small. Oh, let's see, maybe it works. I'm going to keep it like this. Now, this is where it gets super interesting, because we're going to hack a little bit. So I'm going to select this. I need the section. No, sorry, I need the strip. I need to select the strip. And I just drag it slightly over the previous section like this. Don't go too high up, because if you pull it too high, it will think that you want to drag this whole strip into the previous section. And to check if it happened, you can go to Tools, and here you have Layers. And in Layers, you can see that now we have this section, which is untitled. We need to give it a name. And we have a strip inside of it, and there are two columns. This is what we have. And for our hero banner, we have a container box, and inside there's some elements, the text, the title, and things like that. So this is how you can see the layers inside of here. Sometimes you have, for example, 2 elements on top of each other, and this is the only way you can actually move the element that is behind or underneath the other element. So this is how you can get to it. Can close it. Looks super nice, and I can now adjust the section so it's not such a huge section. Looking good. Now just adjusting this quickly, the image size, so it fits a bit better. And if you start moving around it here, you see that this red lines appear, and this just means it's in the middle. It just tries to always align you to something. And if I choose the title and also the text, and I am holding Shift key, now I can select both of them, I can move them up like this. Now this text can go slightly higher, and I'm going to expand it because anytime you do a mistake you want to undo, you just can click on one of the arrows here. So extend it a little bit like this. Same thing here. Perfect. Now it looks great. Let's save this page because we've done quite a lot of work. We don't want to lose it. It should auto-save as well, but just in case. Now it's asking, hey, how do you want to call this page? In my case, it will be home page, so I'm going to just call it home-page. Then I can save and continue. Okay, cool. No, I don't want this. We have saved it, and we can now preview this. Let's click on preview. A little break here. Water break. So this is our page so far. Pretty cool, right? I mean, we have now the hero banner, we have about section, and it all works. If we want to see it in mobile, we just click on this icon here, and it's in mobile. Don't worry, this section is way too long, but we're gonna adjust that. That's the navigation bar. All right, both mobile and desktop look great. Let's go back. Pretty exciting, right? It's pretty easy to use Wix. Next section that we have, I need to check, we have services. And I'm gonna just build it quickly just so that we don't lose time on that because the process is quite similar. There's only one tip I'm gonna give and I'll show you in a second. Let me build it. So I'm just gonna use a section. In this case, it's services. And I like this one, so I'm gonna click on it. But now it added it to the top. Don't worry, if this happens to you, you can click on this section. It's called services and click on these arrows. It will move them down. You see, it's moving down the hierarchy. Cool. Now we have services. One tip here, let's say I want to change the background color here. I'll change the text and stuff like that. Okay, I change the background color, and then if I quickly change the border radius here, for example, the corners will become with 5. What does it do? Well, the corners become, you see, they're a little bit rounded like that. And it changed it for all of these items in this container, but for some reason the background doesn't change. So what you can do is you either change those by yourself, or you can just select one of them and click on Manage Items. And in here you could now delete the 2, 3, and 4. And then you just duplicate this one. So then you have exactly the same style for all of them. Like this. In this way, you have all of them will look exactly the same. So now I'm gonna go ahead and pause this video and just update the images and add some descriptions to them and titles, and then we continue. Okay, I've updated this section and you can see there's now a new title, and there's images with some text there. So I'm pretty happy with this. Let's go ahead and add another section here. Add a section. In this case, we're gonna add, it's a bit of like a filler section, but I think it's gonna look so cool. So we're gonna add a new section and blank section, because all it will do is have a video inside of it. So if I change the background of this one and choose video, and again, I've uploaded the video, so I'm going to select it. Where is it? Where is it? Here you go. This one. The only video I've done. Okay, great. It's not playing now because you're inside the editor, but it's okay. So we're going to just adjust this one now. Now, to make it even cooler, so now it's just a video, but to make it even cooler, what we can do is click on this section. And then here you have background scroll effects. And what you can choose here is different kind of effects. So let me show you. There's quite many you can choose from, but I like parallax, and that's quite common one to use. Again, you're not going to see anything here until, let me close this, save. Let's preview it. Now you will see what I mean. Yep, done. So now you see we have this. Scrolling, and now there's this parallax effect where you see it's not just video moving with the page, it's kind of weirdly parallax affecting it. I don't know how to explain, but I think you can see it, yeah? That's pretty cool, and then your website will just look a bit more professional if you do that. Don't overdo it, don't do it for all the elements, but here and there, it just adds a bit of that professionalism there. So let's close the edit, go back to the editor. And another thing to spice up your page, we're gonna add, for this section especially, click on this one, and here you have shape dividers. And these are pretty cool because, let me show you what they do. I'll choose waves since it's music themed. Right now it adds it to the bottom, but actually I wanna add it to top. So I'm gonna go into this tab, and same thing, we have waves. And it adds this kind of a divider / like an overlay on top of it. Let's click on customize design, and I'm gonna make it as small as possible. So 20, that's enough. Number of repeats, this one has it, so it's a bit like this, and then you have this layer effect where there's a bit of this faded thing going on. So I'm gonna select that, and you can see now it just looks so much cooler because you have this, it's not just like horizontal lines everywhere. It's a bit more fluid. Same thing, if we go back, do it for bottom one, waves, customize design, change color to white, because yeah, don't know why I chose black. And the height to smallest one, and number of repeats to 2. I can also offset slightly and add the same effects. And now it's as if it's just somehow you're looking through the page and there's a bit of video there. Now we can add these dividers also to the top page. So here, so if I click on this one, on this section, I can add shape divider to the bottom, and we can add inverted ellipse. Customize design again, just make it as small as possible. You want it to be very subtle. Yes, look at that. It's just so nice that it kind of dips like that. I really like it. I think I'm gonna just move this section or the strip here slightly up. I'm gonna use my arrow keys on my keyboard to move it slightly up like this. And now it's a little bit higher. That's great. I like this. And the last section we need to add is Contact Us section. And in this case, just go to Add section. And here we could add something from Contact, but for some reason they don't have much stuff here. You see, there's only like 5 or 6. They're not useful. I want a form. So here you have forms at the bottom of this. And now, let me scroll down so it doesn't add it somewhere at the top. Now I can choose one of the forms here. Which one works best? I think this one, the quote one, is closest to what I want. We could also go to here in Elements. And in strips, you have more options. So for example, Contact. Let's see if there's something interesting here. Oh yeah, actually I like this much more. So what I need to do is I need to add a section. Can I add it? Add section. Blank section. Please to the bottom. Yes, there you go. And now if we go to Elements and Strips, Contact, I like this one. Yeah, full pager. Let's add it here. Ah, yes. Now it's loading a little bit the form. Just a second. Okay, there you go. It added it, but it looks a little bit strange because the form is kind of at the bottom. So you just need to select the strip, pull it down. If it works, let's go. Pull it down. Okay, sometimes Wix is a little bit not so intuitive. Let's pull it down here. And then this strip, let's pull it down. Can I pull it? Awesome. Now it's all like it should be. Now this is not part of my color scheme, so I'm going to change it. So selecting the background, change strip background. Right now it's this yellow. Can change it to some other color like this one. Nice. And now we have this part which is white, and I can change it clicking on this one. So the divider needs to be same color. I'm just going to customize it here quickly. You see, if you set the colors from start, it's super easy to just change these things. And you see there's a little gap right now. So that means I need to move it closer. Closer. So the strip is not to the top. Now, yes, now it looks great. If I click on text, I'm going to change the text again. Here, edit text, and you would change the heading. It's wrong font family, so I can choose from here. Right one. Change obviously the text here. Don't know what happened there. I don't know how I even got there. So I'm gonna undo it. Thank you. And I'm not gonna need this section, so I'm just gonna delete it. Social bar, not really needed, delete. Certain elements in Wix have more configuration than just what we've seen with text and images. So for example, forms are one of those. And if you click here, form settings, you get much more than with the normal element. Let's take a look. So first of all, you have here, you will see the submissions. So if somebody submits something, you'll see them here. You can also name this form. Let's call it Contact Us form. And then you have email notifications. Right now, by default, it'll just send you an email to your, it'll just send a notification to your email. And then whenever somebody submits, what do you want to tell them? So thanks for submitting, or thanks for, I'll be in touch soon. Oh yeah, I need to thank them probably. So I'm polite. Thanks. All right. So now if somebody submits, they will see this text. And then you can also set payments here. So people, if they want to submit this form, they need to pay you. That's usually in the case if you want to set up some sort of a call that is paid already. The functionality is there. So there's more functionalities here. I can't go through all of them, but just so you know, Wix is actually improved a lot with these functionalities. You get a lot of things with within the plan. So let's move this whole section here to the top. And the rest just looks great. I would maybe adjust some of the fonts and stuff like that because right now it doesn't fit. And let's just double check that everything also works on mobile. So if I click on mobile, I just want to check that it works. Here, all right. I think everything else looks good, but this one, if I select this button, so move the button, I've selected it, and align it with text like that. The cool thing is, in this element, I forgot how it's called, repeater. Yeah, repeater. When repeater, you change one button, it changes all of them. So that's really great. I think that's a nice functionality. So now you see that we have the video here, and contact me looks decent. That's all we need to know. Let's save and preview our creation. On mobile phone, you see it doesn't play autoplay, so the video maybe is less exciting there, but if you come here on desktop, if it will switch, great, it's switching. Now you can see we have parallax effect, and you see the video is playing there. That just looks so cool that it does that, right? And now you have contact form here, and our page, our home page is pretty much done. Let's go back to editor. And now we can take a look at the menu and footer. So if I scroll down, remember that header and footer, if you do any updates here, it's gonna show up on all your pages. Speaking of pages, maybe we should add a few pages. We have here on the left, pages and menus. So click on it. From here, you can see right now I have this homepage and book online. Book online I'll show you later, so let's add a page. I'll probably need, I don't know, services page. For now, I'm just gonna add blank pages. You could use one of the templates, but for now, I just need something to fill in. Let's call it about. Let's add another one, blank page again, and contact, like this. Cool. Now, if I close this, I'm now on a contact page. So let's go back to home page. Although I could have done it also on that page, but it's just more fun when it's here. So now it's time to add a header and footer. And remember that the header and footer, if you update it in one page, it will get updated everywhere because it's the same one for all of them. First of all, we need to add to footer, we need to add a strip. Let's do that. Add the section, no, add an element. That will, strips are elements. And we're just gonna add classic and empty white one. Add it there. Make sure it's attached to the header. You see, it's there now. Okay, it expands our header way too big. Doesn't matter, we're gonna adjust that in a second. But first of all, first step is to, from here, let's select the strip and then you can click here, stretched. We're gonna use the screen. This is great. We're gonna add a bit of margin so it's not glued to the left and right. So I'm gonna just put like 40. 40? Okay, I guess it's easier to just type it in. Is it? Okay, cool. And I'm gonna use from tools, toolbar. I just want to make it the size I want it to be. So in this case, I think a header can be just 70, not 700, 70. Press enter and then it will update it. Same thing here. I can now drag this one, make it smaller. The strip is some, okay, no, I'm gonna move it to the top. Now I can move the section. Ah, what's going on? Didn't want that. Don't worry, sometimes just Wix does these things, it's weird. So I'm gonna select this, make it 70 again, press enter, Hallelujah. Okay, we're there. Now I want to add my logo because it looks really empty. Let's click on Add Elements and then Image. And from here, I can just drag this logo into view here. Make sure it's attached to the strip. Oh yeah, and if you don't have a logo yet, don't worry. I have a video how to create one in about 10 minutes with a software called Canva. It's totally free, and there I'll just teach you how to create it and then place it on your website. So check it out there if you're interested. Okay, make it smaller. Too small. Like that. Still too small. Come on. And place it in here. Okay, now we have our logo. Next, we go to Elements, Add Elements, because we need the menu items now. So here you have, where is it? Menu and Anchor. You can choose one of the theme ones, and actually that's what I'm gonna do. And I like this very clean one. I'm gonna just drag it here and make sure it just goes inside the header. Please drop it here. Okay, okay. Now you see I have a lot of pages here. I have like home as well. It's not very common practice to also include home. So what you can do is you come here and you have pages and menus. You click on it. And now we can press on these three dots and just hide it. This will hide it from here. Also, book online for now, I'll hide it. Okay, nice. If I click on this, layout. So in here, let's scroll down and, oh, this is annoying. I want actually to see this one. So if you click on this toggle bar, they all just kind of go together. That's what we need. Now we could also set it to be left. I think that's okay. I can now adjust this so it doesn't need to be so huge. Up, 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 like this. And now let's just drag it here like this. And make sure it just aligns center with the logo. And one more thing I'm going to add here is a button. Yes, just a button in the header, because my main point here on the website is to book appointments. So I'm going to just drag this button here, place it nicely like this. Okay, I like it. Now I have a button there, and I'll just call it book appointment. And in this case, because we now have some pages to link to, I can click on this one and let's add a link. Again, I'm going to select page, and from here I can select one of the pages that we just created, or book online or booking calendar in this case. I'm going to choose booking calendar. If you don't see the booking calendar, I'll show you in a second how to add it, because it's just an app. Let's click on done, and now this would link to that page. You would go ahead and just link all the other pages, all the other links now to the sections you've created. Okay, and so now I'm pretty happy with the menu. One thing I like to do, if I click on this one on a header, if you click on these three dots here, you can see you have header scroll settings. If I click on that, you can choose if the header stays always visible, or if it just scrolls with the page. So once you scroll, it disappears, and there's other options here. I like to freeze it because I want people always to have the option to access the navigation, so I'm going to keep it on freeze. And let's check mobile design, because sometimes it goes a bit wrong there, because we added a button, and also we have that, and we also have the logo here. So let me adjust things here. So logo, it's okay. What is this here? Oh, this is like a shopping cart. Delete. Don't need it right now. And this logo should be in the middle, so I'm gonna make sure it's in the middle. Cool. And now the button is kind of in the way, so let's select the button. We're gonna hide it on mobile, but if I go inside the menu, so the hamburger menu, and click on edit menu, it'll open it up. Now we can add inside here another button, which actually will only show up on mobile. I'm gonna drag it here. Book appointment, like this. Stretch it a little bit and just make it aligned with everything else. I think that looks good. And obviously we need to link it again to the booking page here, and calendar, and done. So now we can click on this icon and change the design. So for example, I could change it. I like how this one, or maybe that's what I have. I'll change it to this. Custom design. I want it to have my colors. So the fill would be here, icon. And you see like this. Yes, now it's on point. Cool. And what about the X? Does it still need anything? I double clicked on it. Now, design. Custom design. Can I change it? No. Oh, here, open, obviously. Let's adjust it here. Change same color. And now it's satisfying. Okay, perfect. And it just looks on brand right now. And close it. Close it. Yes. This is way too long. So I'll just select this header. Make it smaller. Again, probably it's just easier to use the toolbar because sometimes the drag and drop doesn't work as you would wish. 70. This icon, don't need it, delete. And now it's super clean. Let's try it out, how it looks like on, if we save it, and then obviously preview this. So sometimes it moves things around like this. You see, I would need to adjust this text again, but everything else I think is good. If I click on this, it opens up the menu and we have the button there now. Great. Now let's go back. And back to desktop. All right, header is now down. Let's take a look at the footer. And footer is like, you could include something there, but it's not a must. If you feel like it's not something you need to do, you can just exclude it. But for this tutorial, we're just gonna make something simple. So here in the footer, I'm just gonna add an element. And in this case, just a text. I'm just gonna drag it into the footer. So let's say heading 4. And I'm going to drag it here in the footer the same way we do with header. Place it in here. Now you have a heading here, and you could say something simple as contact us, and then, for example, your phone number. So whatever that phone number is. It could be as simple as that. You don't need to go crazy with footers, but if you want to really style it, then take your time on this one. I would say most footers don't actually include that much. Once you start having more pages, some blog pages, you can also create a menu inside here. So you could come here, add elements, and you have this menu and anchor. And instead of horizontal menu, you would add vertical one. So something like this. So let me just quickly show you. I'll add it here. Like this. Okay, now it's a little bit messy right now, but you get the point. The footer is less interesting, especially when you're starting out. Now, I'm just gonna delete this part, and actually this text, I'm gonna make it a paragraph. Actually, I'll also make it very small paragraph, like this. Awesome, that's it. You now know how to add also a footer, so it's easy to continue from there. Let's save everything. I'm super happy with what we have here. Now we can go back to the other pages, and I would go and just build them out. But I want to show you one thing. There's something called apps. If I go back to dashboard, and this is the dashboard again, and if you scroll down, you have this apps section. Now, apps in Wix are like little additional features that you get for Wix. Some of them are built by Wix and some are not. They're built by third-party developers and they cost money. Now, if you go here, you see App Market. You can just explore. They have hundreds of different apps here. When I selected that I'm gonna create a music teacher website, it automatically installed a booking widget. And you can find it by typing here appointment. Appointment, yes. And here you see Wix bookings installed. If you don't have that yet, just go ahead and install it. You just click on it like this one, and then add to site. That's how you would install it. So let's go back and just click here on show menu. And from here, we can, whenever you open it up, once you install this app, you see this booking service, booking calendar. So here, if you click on the calendar, it is really cool how you can create it. Here you would set what days you're available and things like that. But how do you see it? Let's go back here. And if I go to the editor and I select from pages, here you have booking calendar. This is a separate page that's automatically created. And what it means is it just has this calendar and it just shows up. So this is the booking widget or app. And now you as a user could select the date, the time, and then you can book an appointment with the service provider. You could even set so that people have to pay before they book it. That way they already prepaid the whole thing. To set these things up, you can go back to dashboard, and here in the booking service, you would need to create a service and also a plan, and then you set the pricing and things like that. I'll leave that for another tutorial just because this is taking already quite long. I would look up on YouTube for another tutorial specifically on the appointment setting if this is interesting to you. But just something to keep in mind that you can set it here and then you can use it. And this is super useful. I think this is the amazing part of Wix, how easy it is to start selling things online. Not only products, but also just services, right? And this is what we're trying to do here. Another thing you can do in Wix is create blog. So the blog content, if you go to, where is it? Apps, you would install the blog app, which is kind of weird that you need to install it separately. Wasn't my decision. So here you would just come in and type in blog, and you see here Wix blog. This is how you could start with blogging. You would just add it to site, and then the editor works quite similar way as in the normal one. I could now go ahead and publish this page on the whole website, but the problem is that I have this super ugly URL right now. Nobody's gonna buy from you if this is your real URL. It's just too long and it doesn't look professional. So now what you could do is you buy a domain name either from Wix or you buy it from somewhere else and connect it with Wix so that you would see something like yoursite.com. That just looks much better and much more trustworthy. Now, the thing is, to do that in Wix, to connect the domain name, you need to actually upgrade to a paid plan. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's connect your domain name. You can choose here if you get a new domain name or connect the name you already have. I'm going to connect the new domain name. And now it'll show you that actually, yes, you can do it, but you got to pay us. Now, if you look at the plans that Wix has, for most of you, if you need just a basic website without any type of selling or booking apps or things like that, you can get away with the combo. So this plan should be enough to start with. You see that there's some limitations, but as a beginner website owner, this is fine. I would not recommend getting the Connect domain because you still see the Wix branding on your page. Again, just doesn't look that professional. If you are more serious about building a business and selling things on Wix, then I would go with the Business Basic. I think that's just more than enough to most of you, and it includes a booking platform. You see here, it's tailored for your business, and also you can sell stuff like e-commerce stuff. So later on, if you have products, digital products or physical products, you can sell them from Wix. Oh yeah, one important thing I forgot to mention is that you get a free domain name for 1 year. Yes. Now we can select from here and select the Business Basic. And obviously the longer you sign up for, the cheaper it gets. But since this is just for tutorial, I'm gonna purchase this one, $25 a month. Continue to checkout. And notice if you take the monthly plan, then the domain name is not included. So I'm just gonna fill in my details here. And once you've paid, you see this page. Congratulations, your site is premium. Great. Now we get all the features that you get with that plan. Now we also need to find the domain name. It might have asked that before, so just search for a domain name you're looking for. Steve and Sounds. Let's try if you can find it. .com. Search for it. Steve and Sounds is available, which is actually surprising. So I'm gonna just do it. Let's, where is it? Get it. Yes. Woo. Can get it. So select for how long you want to have this domain name. Again, not sure if you need this part. Then enter your contact details. and then just click on the continue. And now I would recommend using the privacy protection, just because if you don't, then all your details will show up publicly in a public database, basically, which is called Whois. There's nothing you can do about it unless you take a privacy protection. And I would even add the full privacy protection even in the case if you got the domain name for free. Now, in the long run, it's probably cheaper to get a domain name from outside of Wix, because Wix charges actually quite high prices. Obviously, if you get the domain name for free for the first year, that's fine then. You can always transfer the domain name later to another domain registrar. If you want to keep it super simple, just do it through Wix now. I recommend Namecheap for this because it includes that privacy protection within the price, and the prices are about $10 a year. So they're much more affordable than with Wix. So then let's head to continue. And obviously now you would enter your details and purchase this domain name. I'm not going to purchase it because I already have a domain name and I'm going to use that. Now, if you want to connect a domain name that you bought from somewhere else, it's pretty simple actually. You head here into settings in Wix, and then where domains, you click here on domains. I was so surprised, domains, it's actually there, awesome. So here just type in your domain name. In my case, it will be, what was it? I'm just going to my Namecheap, tipswithpunch.com. And then I head back, paste it in, let's go. Now it's just checking if somebody owns it. And I do own it, so I already purchased it. So you can see it's just asking, is this yours? Yes, I own this domain name. So let's click on it, and now we can connect our domain name. Cool. Now here it's actually detecting that it's from Namecheap. Yes, it's from Namecheap. Gives you instructions how to do this. Okay, let's click on start. Log into Namecheap. Okay, I'm already there. I found my domain name. Okay, I found it. I found the name servers. I'm going to show you where to find them in just a second. And here, these are the name servers we need to update. So copy this one and let's go to Namecheap. And inside Namecheap, I'm in domain list. And here, tipswithpunch.com, I'm already inside managing this domain name. If I scroll down, here you have name servers. And this drop down, if you change it to custom DNS, you can now paste the name servers. I placed the first one and the second one, and the only difference between the two is that this one had an 8 and this one was a 9. Yours might be slightly different, so just double check. Here you see 9 and 8. Perfect. Now if I click on the green icon, it's going to save it. And now within 5 or 10 minutes, it should work. Now it does warn you here that it might take up to 48 hours, but it's really rare that that happens. So usually it's within 5 minutes, but sometimes it might take an hour. Okay, and just to finish this one here, we click on I added them, and now your part is done. Awesome. Now it's just saying, okay, it's gonna take a bit of time and they're gonna notify when it's done to your email. And it's warning also that to see your site live at this domain name, you need to go to the editor and publish your site. Let's do that. Here, I'm still in the editor. I'm gonna click on publish. Okie dokie. And once the propagation is done, I waited maybe 10 minutes and then I came back to settings and domains, and you see this message. Your website is now live. It's not only live, but it's also under this domain name. That's great. If you click on view your site, you can see that the site is live now. This is what we built today. Now, one thing to note, if you see that this connection is not secure, that probably will go away within a few more hours. It just needs to propagate everywhere, and then it adds the SSL certificate. But if you see in a day or so that nothing has changed, it's still not secure, then I would contact Wix's support team and find out why it's not working. Because this should be automatic and it's included in all the plans. And just for the end, I want to show you some important settings that you need to set so that your website is discovered through SEO. First of all, go to settings. And here you can go to the booking settings. If you've installed the calendar and the booking app, you need to schedule your available time. And you can link with Google Calendar or any other calendar that you're using, and it's all done here. Another thing you can adjust here is also cart checkout. So you'll need to adjust things here if you're selling something. If we go back to settings, another interesting one is website settings, and it is here. You see that the site is published. That's good. You can unpublish it here just in case you're not happy with it. We need to change the name here. I'll change it to Steve and Sounds. So then it's the brand name. All right, that's the name. And then if we take a look here, manage domain, no, we're not going to change anything here. Favicon, really important. It's this little icon here at the top. You see right now it's Wix. For this website, they have this one. You can upload any square image. Preferably it's a transparent one, but it's up to you. I'm going to upload the image. Actually, I have the image. Why am I uploading? And from here, I'm going to just select this one. Choose file. And now you can see this is how it's going to appear. Really cool, right? Little icon here at the top when you have a tab. It just looks so sweet. Then you can also adjust this social media image. I can just upload my logo here like this. So if anybody shares a page, this is what's going to show up. Now maybe I could have taken a look at the sizes here, but for now it's okay. If you have Facebook, you could add it here, and then when you're ready, just click on save. Those are pretty much the most important settings, but SEO settings, you go under marketing and SEO here. SEO, this just means that search engines like Google can find you. And you should just do all of these. They have even tutorials here how to set it up. And the most important thing is just to set up some of the basics, like go to the SEO settings, and here just fill in the details. So for example, the main page, we need to add a bit of information on these pages. This is how you're going to appear in search engines. For example, right now it's the page name and your site name. So about Steve and Sounds, which actually sounds pretty good. You could give this also a description, then it'll have like a generic description here and the page URL, but for now, just keep it as is because that just makes more sense. And make sure that you have this enabled, otherwise search engines cannot find your pages. And there's just more settings here. For example, for social sharing, what image it's going to show. It's going to show this image. You see, it's a little bit off, so I could change this image to something a bit more, a better one, because this actually looks quite ugly. And same thing for Twitter and so on. Just take a look at these. I would just watch the tutorials that they provide here because it's super important when you're starting out to get this right. And here you can also see, this is like the default ones, but we can also edit this by page. So for example, for homepage, I can go inside of it and edit this SEO settings and social media settings for this specific page. So home, that's fine, Steve and Sounds, but maybe it could be Steve and Sounds, and then I'll just place this whole text. Learn to play music with Steven. Well, I don't need to repeat Steve again, but all right. And then you would add some description. And now this is what you would see whenever somebody searches you in Google. But if you don't appear immediately in Google, that's normal. It probably takes a month or 2 months to even appear there, even if you take all the steps. Google has its mind of its own, so things take time. So I would advise you to just watch separate tutorials for that. Then you have advanced settings here. For you, when starting out, I think this is just overcomplicated. And social share. If somebody shares this, how are they going to see it? So now you could adjust this. And instead of that logo, actually was a bad choice. I'm going to select this picture, which is a square, and it works better for social media images. Okay, much better. Yeah, I like that much more. And now you could add more information here. Then just publish. And now if you appear on Google, this is how you would appear. And if somebody shares your page on Facebook or Twitter, you also saw the examples here. That's how it would look like. So here, social share. This is how it will look like on Facebook, for example. Wow, okay, we are done. That was easier than you thought, right? You just needed to put in the work. And now you have a website. So welcome to the club. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe for more videos about how to run and grow your business online through tutorials, tips, and tool reviews. So you've built a website now, but without telling Google that it's live, it's going to take months to show up in Google search. This is why I created this video where I'll show you how to sign up for Google Search Console and submit your website to Google search.